Welcome to Modern Goddess. Here we discuss everything mastering your mindset, wellness wisdom, upgrading your relationships so that you can unleash your divine goddess essence and live your authentic best self every single day. I'm your host, Cassie Aurora. So welcome back to the podcast, and I hope you're having a really great weekend if you're catching this on the day as I'm sitting here. I'm back at home with my cup of coffee. I'm just about to embark on some kind of massive walk, hike thing. Where I live, like where I've moved home to, it's just like pure concrete jungle. I find that really hard. Like my long-term goal is to move. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I need the nature like every day. And if I don't get it, I just feel really uneasy. And I think that's because essentially, we are part of nature. And the more we remove ourselves from it, more problems we have. So coming back to nature to me is like coming back home, coming back into my own sacred stillness. And so, yeah, I'm missing that. I spent the first 8 weeks of lockdown at my boyfriend's house, and that was so nice. So because from the age of 15 I've really been quite rootless. My mum passed away, and if some of you have heard my story, like over on Meg Doll's podcast, it was quite a terrible time. It was quite abusive where I lived. I kind of had nowhere to turn to. My dad's not in my life at all, and so yeah, it was really hard for me growing up. And really up until these first 8 weeks of lockdown, I had when I finally moved in with him and his family that was so kind to have me, I really felt a sense of belonging, and I had some roots and family. And it's so crazy because when that happened, my my business started to boom. And it was other things, but that was one of the major players. I felt really safe. And as a woman, I think genetically, biologically, we need to feel a level of safety. I mean, everyone does, but Teal Swan talks about this a lot, and I'm not going to go into it, but I really did feel safe, every night going to bed, and I would just get that moment where we can hug and we would say what we were grateful for, and I'd wake up and he would be the first person I saw, and it was just, yeah, it filled my soul up, and now that's not happening. It's like when I came home, also to where I live, it's not really, it's a horrible place, I'll be honest, but the house is nice that I live in, and my room's like a little sanctuary, and I try and see the beauty in all places, but this place it's a difficult vibration. And I felt a lot of sadness and lowness come down. So I'm just working through that because it's a sadness that's coming from my inner child, and we all have that sadness somewhere, and usually for most of us it's from something inwards that is unmet, a part of us that hasn't been heard or felt. And this is a lot of the work I do with my clients is, we see the astrology chart when I read for people, and I'm like, okay, well, this is where it's coming from, something around a childhood, something around a trauma, but we have to heal and integrate it because the awareness isn't enough. So a lot of my days are spent with my inner child that I kind of met again, a different part of me I hadn't met yet, that felt really abandoned when I had chose to move out of that home. And so I had to reparent her and make her feel safe. And this is a lot of the work that we can do as women to really help ourselves integrate those parts of us that are driving those anxieties, those sadnesses, and those difficult behaviours. So for me, it's been a real turning point. This is what retrograde's all about. I said in my last podcast, retrograde would bring up old stuff, and it has. I've literally moved back to my home, and it's brought up all of these old wounds around feeling rootless and feeling lonely, on the deepest level, that like in my own sacredness, when I connect to source, I don't feel lonely. But in reality, there's actually parts of my human psyche that need shepherding and need working through. And so it's a good coincidence for me that I've got like, I don't know how long, 5 more days off, that I've booked nothing in. I think I have one client booked in, because she had to go in, but I need that, because although I should have been in LA now, I'm not. I need that time just like anyone else, even though this is my job, like growth coaching and astrology. I need still the time. I'm still human. I still have parts of me that come up, the journey is ongoing. And so I'm working with that. And I know some of you will relate to that deep sense of loneliness, especially if you've kind of had childhood bereavements or trauma. There's something, that feels safe when other people are around. And also I'm making big shifts with my exercise and food, just in some different ways that are personal to me. And so I'm going through a real growth process. And then I've kind of moved back home, and, it's difficult. But I think I'm moving soon to somewhere else. But yeah, this lockdown thing sucks, because it's like you can either be with someone all the time, or you can just go for a walk with them. And there's like no in between. And that, like, because we're in the UK now allowed to go on walks with people at a distance, but I'm like, oh, it's horrible. And I can say this because I know he won't listen to the podcast, so it's fine. But yeah, and I don't tell him how lonely I'm feeling, because it's like, it's not going to add to the relationship. So I'm just working through that on my own and trying to make sure that I'm showing up as my best self in the world, and that's all we can do. So I'm sharing this with you because I know that you'll understand that, I know that you'll get it. And there's been a few things that are really keeping me upbeat at the moment. And one I want to talk about now is Christina Rice's Up Level membership. For me, this is just giving me that community feel, along with my own community of beautiful women. But this really is a massive extended community of women who are health-minded, they're conscious, they want to up-level, evolve, they're not kind of sitting on their laurels and being victims of life. They're really, getting on with things. And yeah, like, what I love is they're all like me. So they'll probably all be like you as well. And so the Up-Level membership from Christina Rice Wellness essentially gives you, for literally $20 a month, which I don't know about you, but you can't actually get that much for $20 a month. It's like maybe a trip to Costa where you have like, I don't know, 2 of you having like a coffee and some food or something, or like a trip to Starbucks. Yeah, or a drop-in yoga class around here. You couldn't get this, right? So it's pretty good. But it's basically a membership where you get unlimited access to exclusive blogs, guides, courses, and monthly Q&A video calls that are health and wellness related and related to growth. So it's not just health and wellness, because everything is intertwined, as you know. So she's made this membership where the stuff she doesn't share on the mainstream, it's like exclusive to those people. I love it because there's like never seen before interviews and video content. I really like the Wellness Foundations course because there's a course library where you can also get sneak peeks of other courses. Like there's a Ditch Your Acne one, which will be really useful if you have skin issues. I love the Paleo Women Lifestyle Program sneak peek. Even though I've done the course, it means that I can just jump onto the Up Level and look at the top bits that I remember from that course that were really useful for me in changing my health. And also there's a recipe ebook which I really love. Something I haven't done yet, but I'm definitely going to have a look at, is the 8-week workout guides. But Even though I'm personal trainer, yoga teacher, I do like someone else just to give me a workout guide. That would be great. So there's 2 of those on there. And, for right now, when we're in the shops and it's chaos, there's also a healthy grocery shopping list that you can download. So they're all like included. So it's really good value. What I find funny is some of the American terms on the grocery shopping list. So in the UK, I was like, oh my God, what's this? So maybe I'll have to get in touch with Christina and do a UK translation for anyone that's as stupid as me. Yeah. And also there are monthly live Q&A calls with Christina, and she's super busy. Like, she is a baller. Like, she's my business coach, but her time is limited. So you can actually ask her anything you want on that call, and it's recorded. So if you can't make it, you can still watch it back, which is what I do. Really, the membership just gives you all the tools that you need to vibe higher, live limitlessly, step into your highest self, and really reach your health goals. That's really important. And the topics include gut health, hormone regulation, healthy weight loss, fitness, body image, self-confidence, and my favorite, manifestation. And it's all in there. I'm really glad I'm in this, and actually I wish I said this in the last podcast. I wish I'd have enrolled for a year, because if you enroll for a year-long subscription, you get 2 months free. So just do that. Take my word for it. And you can also use, if you're just going to do monthly, the code Modern Goddess with no spaces, all lowercase, at 20% off at the checkout, and you'll get 20% off. So you go onto the link in my bio, Christina Rice's membership, you go to sign up, then at the checkout you can use out the code Modern Goddess, all lowercase, no gaps, for 20% off your first month's subscription. So why wouldn't you? You literally have nothing to lose. And tell me if you join. I've already had a few of my clients tell me they've joined. But let me know, and I'll see you in there. At the thread, we're talking about celery juice. You might not think is that interesting, but the stories that people have had with celery juice, really, it's the juice. So yeah. I don't know what else to say other than you should be on it. So let's get on to today's guest. Today's guest is my beautiful friend Emma from Emma's Remedy on Instagram. She came on the show before, but she's in my business coaching group, and we're just getting closer and closer and closer. And I love her. I love her Scorpio moon, Gemini sun. She's like the same kind, beautiful, warm-hearted person that I am, but with that don't fuck with me undertone, which is basically like an inner resting bitch face, but it's really just our depth and our skepticism. She's fiercely loyal and caring, and she's an amazing practitioner regards to things around food and food freedom, and actually helping you break the yo-yo diet cycle, overcome disordered eating, and actually have food freedom, ditch dieting, and get the body you want. Trust me, she's got a banging body. She's always baking nice things. You need to just follow Emma on Instagram, because her stories, I'm like, oh my God, they're so entertaining. Because she made yesterday something like paleo blueberry muffins. I was like, oh my God. No, paleo blueberry donuts. I literally think, I was literally like, can you not ship me some to the UK, please? It's real. So everything I cook, I burn. It's quite funny. I might start sharing on my stories. I have these great ideas, and then I go off and do something else, and then I come back down, there's just smoke bellowing out the oven. Oh God. And I don't follow recipes, so I just can't. Maybe that's what I need to learn the next few days. So yeah, this podcast episode, I really hope you enjoy. Reach out to Emma. Let me know you've watched this episode, and if there's one thing you can do today to help more people hear this podcast and hear Emma and get all this useful content, please, if you're on the iTunes, leave a rating and review. If you do that, it helps more people find the podcast. It helps me. I'll be so grateful. And if you screenshot that rating and review and send it to me, I will send you a discount code for 40% off. That's a lot. So send that rating and review, screenshot to me that you've done it on iTunes, and I'll send you that discount code. If you don't have iTunes, then you can actually review it via their website. So it's not impossible. But once you send me that screenshot, I'll send you 40% off any of my astrological services, my coaching programs, etc. So anyway, screenshot this show, let me know you've listened to it, share it. If you can leave a rating and review, then I will thank you with that beautiful discount code. I will see you in Christina's Up Level membership, I'm very sure. And without further ado, let's welcome my beautiful friend Emma, the actual beautiful ditch dieting coach, to the podcast. So I'm recording now.
Hello, Cassie.
Hello, Emma. I've just done Emma's astrology. We just done an hour, and I was talking about how Emma's basically as intense as me. What did I say? I was like, your body wants to get from A to B. Your mind's slow as shit, and your emotions are deep as hell.
Yeah, and that resonated so much and you said specifically when I'm at home, I have more energy and my body's fast. And I was just talking about this last week in the coaching group of when I'm home, my mind is like, I should relax. I know I need to relax.
Your mind.
My body is like, no, what are you going to do next? You need to turn around. You need to do this. You need to do that. I feel like I always have so much pent up physical energy. But then once I leave the house, it's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
I'm curious, do you have more accidents at home? Did you burn yourself and stuff like that quite a lot, or not really?
No, not really. I've cut myself a couple times.
That's Mars in Aries in the 4th house. Mars cuts. 4th house is home. I mean, everyone cuts themselves, I guess, but...
Yeah, not as much, I'd say, as other people.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's just the last time. Then.
Yeah, I'm careful with my knife skills. I grew up in the kitchen kind of with my family, so I was always kind of taught like the right way to hold the knife and this and that. So I'm really careful, and especially since the last time I sliced my finger open with a box grater.
Yuck.
I've been more careful.
You know, the best place for you to live is like alone. Like,
oh, I know.
Yeah. Like and like you should be living in a hot country.
I know. Oh, that makes me sad. That's my goal.
San Diego.
I know. Yeah, that's my goal for sure. So everything I'm doing now is with that goal in mind, because I hate the cold weather. I just feel so much more happy when it's sunny and when it's warm. It doesn't need to be hot. It just needs to not be cold. Like, I don't even care if it's cloudy. It just needs to not be cold.
Yeah, I can't deal with cold. So, okay. We need to get into our podcast because we'll just end up talking about like your astrology again.
Yeah, we could go on for ages talking about random crap as we do.
Yeah. So the thing that's been on mine and Emma's mind is like, so we were like, what should we talk about in the episode? And I was like, I really want to talk about dating and sex because I think it's funny. And then basically we've full circled, and I was like, I really want to talk about why Instagram fucks you up. That's what I want to talk about, because we both get our bees in bonnets about it. Like you were saying, so the other day I wake up and like I go onto my Instagram like in the morning, and the first thing I see is like fucking profile, like they had the word diet and extreme in their username, and I was just like, do you not fucking read my post? It's literally like about body love. And the worst part was I hadn't hashtag like diet, I hadn't hashtag culture, I hadn't hashtagged anything that was pro diet for sure. I hadn't hashtagged like body transformation. And like they were like, hey, we should collab, love your profile. And I was like, why? So then I sent Emma this picture and I was like, I have a problem with this. And I was like, I don't like these people. And yeah. And that's when I was like, we need to talk about this.
I think that they just mass message people, to be honest. I don't think they're really reading your content, because if they would realize you'd have zero interest in collabing with them.
Yeah, I know that. But what I'm saying is, my point was, if someone who is looking to transform their body is scrolling through Instagram and they see you, Emma, who's preaching this amazing message about I can get you the body you want and I'm going to ditch dieting. And then the next thing they see is someone that's like extreme diets and they've got these fucking body transformations and these weird, like, I had this keto burger and it looked disgusting. Anyway, and I was just like, you know, to the uneducated person, they know in their soul that you sound better, but the part of them wants to fucking punish themselves and hurt themselves. Like, I'm telling you, like 5 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, extreme diets.
Same.
Give me some of that shit.
Yeah, because they want the quicker result, you know, which I guess that's just human nature. We don't want to do something that's going to take a longer time and be a slower process. Like, you know, if you really do want to lose weight, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's where the intention comes from. Is the intention pure, and is the intention kind to your body? And check that first, and then there's a way to do it sustainably where, you know, you can lose a small amount every week, as opposed to, I lost 30 pounds in 2 weeks. And no, it doesn't work that way. But people don't want to accept that that's not the right way to do it. And yeah, the uneducated person is going to fall for that, because there's so many opinions online telling you that this is the right thing to do. So what are you supposed to believe, right? I'm here telling you, yeah, it does. And it screwed me up for so long, until I realized, like, the answer is just within me. It's about tuning into what feels good in my body, as opposed to listening to all these external opinions. And I posted stories about this the other day, about how diet culture demonizes fruit because it has too much sugar, too much carbs and fruit, and you're gonna go into a blood sugar attack and you're gonna become diabetic. I'm like, are you kidding me? No. I used to do this. I was like, all right, I'm gonna cut out fruit. Okay,
That's
I'm
what
gonna
I
cut out
did. I cut out tomatoes because they were too high carb.
And carrots.
Fucking
I was
carrots.
like,
I
for a
still
while,
have
I
a problem with carrots. That voice still comes in my head. Like, and what is that? Like, I remember it got to this point, like, thanks to hashtag keto or whatever. And don't get me wrong, like, I love to eat predominantly that way because it just feels good to me. And I love fat. Like, I could eat until the cows came home. But, like, every now and then I catch myself when I'm like doing my breakfast and putting my berries on. I catch myself like more than 5 berries. That's probably more than a handful. It's probably too much. Or I get this thing where I'm like, oh, what's a good example? Like, I'm only allowed fruit like once a day. It's so messed up that, like, anything with color, it's like anything with color, I'm like, oh, what the hell? And that's when I was like, this is not okay. Like, this is not okay, because my soul knows that it's fine to eat most of these foods, but the Instagram and the diet culture industry They don't care. They literally don't care about your well-being.
No, it's just about following these food rules because they can't sell something that it's just preaching, listen to your body. They can only sell a specific X, Y, and Z to get this result. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, cut out carbs, do this, do that, and then you'll get to what you want. People just want the answer, or they want like a specific nutrition plan. When am I going to get the diet plan? I was listening to someone, I forgot who it was, and they were like, if you're looking for me to give you a day-to-day diet plan, this is not the place for you, because it's very individual, and what works for one person doesn't work for another. So when you come across these things on Instagram telling you to do these certain things to lose weight or whatever you want to do, it might work for you, but then it might not. And then when it doesn't, you feel like you did something wrong.
Oh my God, that's so true. And then the guilt sets in. It's
Yeah,
not
like,
true. It's not true. Like, for sure, like, oh, you feel like you've done something wrong, but I think the hardest part of it all is like someone does a certain diet and then they evangelize it, and then that becomes like the word of God as they know it, and it's like, wait, I literally, everyone's looking around at what everyone else is doing.
mm,
And like these influencers, I'm not being funny, like half the vegan influencers, they're not vegan. Like, this is stuff that we know, people that have worked for these people, and they're not vegan.
really?
Yeah, I can't say who it was, but she says it on a podcast. It's not like she's hiding this. She's like, I work for these people. They are not vegan because they know it's not healthy.
Oh
But
my
no,
God.
they've got like 100K plus followers on fucking Instagram. So, oh, they've got to stick to that because they've built their whole identity around a diet.
Mm.
How, and they're not even doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense because, yeah, if you have built your public identity as such, it's hard to pivot, um, especially if that's how you make your money. But like, even for me, I was in that diet dogma place for a really long time after it was, getting over the eating disorder and everything. It was just paleo, strict, strict, strict.
Mm-hmm.
And I preach that as gospel. And if everyone doesn't eat that way, you're doing it wrong and you're going to die a slow, painful death.
Yeah, you will.
And and I used to be one of those people who would just preach it and give unsolicited advice. And I remember back and I cringe at that because it's so the opposite of what I do now.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe in bioindividuality. And even for me, once I started easing up a bit around food in order to heal not only my body, but my mind, my soul, it needed to happen. And I found that at the end of the day, eating that way does make me feel the best physically and mentally,
Mm.
but not in such a strict dogmatic way of like, maybe today I want to eat some lentils, even though it's not under this paradigm. But I was just so done with the rules because it was no longer serving me. And paleo really um, doesn't, it's not about no carb because, you can have sweet potato and fruit and everything, but, you're not supposed to have rice or legumes. And okay, maybe not all the time every day, but just having those rules makes one feel really, really restricted. And if they do have them for whatever reason, then they feel like they failed. So I just ended up, and this is what I like to do with clients or just friends or people who just ask me what I think, it's like, if you feel like you've tried a bunch of different diets or styles of eating, and you liked one thing from another, you didn't like this other thing, and there's some things you liked from each of them, why don't you just mush it all together and make your style of eating? So I don't really label how I eat anymore, because there is no label. It's me. It's Emma's style of eating, and it works for me. And
Yeah.
that's what I think all people should do, and that's why I really want to empower people to do that, because it's not just do this and you'll get to where you want to be. It's a lot of experimenting, and I just hate seeing those things on Instagram. Like, I'm always seeing these things come up, like 10 foods for fat loss, or
Don't.
ditch these 10 foods and you'll lose weight. And I'm like, ugh, no, no.
You know, it fucks me off because like I ended up at one point where I literally was on spinach, chicken, walnuts. That was it. I was like, I don't. That was years ago, but like then there was one point where I was just like, what can I eat? And you end up with a fear of everything, and your body just hits starvation mode, and it's like fucked. That's that, and then you're just in like I have for years through fucking diet culture and disordered eating, I've literally downregulated my metabolism so much. I have thyroid troubles, I have adrenal issues, like, and one thing I was like, do you know what? I realized this the other day that like dieting is a trauma. Like it's a fucking trauma to the body.
Yeah.
And people need to work with a coach or a practitioner to heal that if they actually want to fully recover. And I would speculate to say that like 9 out of 10 women now have disordered eating.
I would agree, whether they realize it or not. Most don't.
Number one, diet starts Monday. What is this thing about Monday?
It's a
I'm
fresh
gonna,
start.
no, it's not. It's another day. No.
Well, according to diet culture, it's a fresh start. It's like, I used to do this
Oh,
Monday
I
through,
did it.
yeah, Monday through Friday, I'd be super strict. And then once Saturday hit, I was like, bring on the ice cream.
Which is fine. But when you build it up so much, the energy behind it is like, it's not normal. Like, it's
No,
not.
toxic.
It's like when I built myself up for that bowl of porridge. Do you remember? I was really
Yes.
excited to eat carb again, and it was just this fucking massive headache. And then I had like the other week, I was like, I'm gonna have white bread, and I just built it up so much that like it didn't even taste that good. I was like, I've built this up, and I was like, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
It was pointless.
Yeah. So if you just take away the rules, then, like, when I took away my food rules, I stopped craving anything at all. Whereas before, when I had all the rules, I would have crazy cravings for all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's not a healthy place to be. And now, if it's a Wednesday and I want a brownie, I have it and it's great. And then I just have the brownie and I move on and I don't think about it. You know, it's about making a conscious choice from a place of, first of all, understanding. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, maybe I'm craving sugar, but where's that coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Is it biological? Is it emotional? Sometimes it's both, sometimes it's one or the other, depending on where the lady is in the cycle. And then, yeah, going from a place of understanding and then compassion rather than judgment. You know, our body knows what it needs. And, you know, unless you have some kind of underlying thing going on, like, yeah, if you have candida, you're going to crave sugar all the time, and that's not healthy. And you should get to the root of that. But
You say that, but okay, I'm going to interrupt here. Like,
yeah,
there are studies that show you don't need to cut out sugar to clear candida.
yeah,
There's a study that, so I'm like, well, what's fucking true? I know someone that cleared their candida when they let go of dieting. They just said, eat sugar if you want it, whatever. They cleared it. And even take a
Maybe,
supplement.
interesting. Maybe it was the stress around it.
Exactly, because if we look at Candida, like in terms of Reiki, that's
Mm.
all around holding on and forgiveness and resentment. And I'm like, maybe they just resented themselves. And it comes back to what you said, individuality. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it can be biological, but it's okay as well for it to be emotional.
Yeah.
I feel like it's okay. Like, okay, biologically, I'm in day one of my cycle now, so I'm bleeding. But in my head, I'm like, okay, so I shouldn't be craving foods now until I reach like my luteal phase, and then I'll want more carbs and more nurturing foods. So then already I'm putting that rule into place. Be like, well, where I'm in my cycle, is that okay? It's actually,
Right.
I feel like emotional cravings are important if you've come from disordered eating. They're important to have and to honor. Like what
Mhm.
you said that, but I just felt like interjecting about the candida thing.
Yeah, yeah, I have been. The thing is, like, in the health and wellness space and as practitioners, I think it's really important for us to always have a beginner's mind. You
Yeah,
know, yeah, I think sometimes I think I know everything about a thing, and then I read something. The thing you just said about Candida, I just read about that. I heard about it a couple
yeah.
of days ago. I was like, oh, how interesting about this guy who cleared his Candida eating like vegan, all these sweet potatoes and like agave and maple syrup. I was like, oh, that's so interesting. So maybe there's an energetic, emotional thing going on, because if your body's holding on to stress, it's not going to heal no matter what you do physically and what you eat.
Well, 100%. Yeah, like I was saying this yesterday with Vivian when we were recording, it's like it's really integrative.
Mm-hmm.
And like I find myself now when I'm coaching, I can't even put in place like an actual coaching program because I'm obviously it's like individual and a lot of it's energetic. And then when it comes to biological stuff where I'm like, okay, what do you think you need to do? My client's like, I think I just need to rest and eat some nourishing foods. I'm like, okay, what does that look like? Like they know biologically and energetically. Sometimes people aren't aware until you do that deep work. But I think it all has its place. And beginner's
Yeah.
mind, you're totally right. And beginner's mind towards our clients, like, and as a consumer of Instagram, I know I get on my bonnet. Maybe extreme diets is something I need to do, Emma. Maybe I need to do extreme diets. But maybe there's wisdom in it. I don't think so, but whatever.
Well, I think there's something to be said about using yourself as an experiment just to keep up with, or just to keep away from getting into being dogmatic about a topic. Like, how Christina is like,
Yeah.
when I hear something about one thing, I go and I research about the complete opposite so I don't stay stuck. And I think that's a really good
I do
idea.
that. It's triggering though.
It can be because our ego wants to be right all the time.
No, I mean like it's triggering is in the me, like, okay, this is just when was it? It's Friday last week. I'm like, suddenly I'm in the kitchen at 8 o'clock at night reading about why I shouldn't be eating avocados for my thyroid. Because I listened
Oh,
to some fucking Ray Peat shit. And he was like talking about poofers or something. And I was like, oh my God. And I just was like, this is too triggering for people. Like, and then you have to suddenly tell yourself, let it go. How do you feel? But that's
mhm.
taken me like what years of how long? I was 11 when I got into diet culture. I'm 29 now, 18 years. And only in the last year have I been able to actually go, wait, stop.
We
That,
have the same we have the same timeline
well,
with
we
all that.
discovered that last time. I was like, what the fuck? Why are you on the same timeline as me?
Yeah.
And I just think that, people like Christina and you and, like me to an extent, we're talking about the truth. But it's like, what do people do when they're scrolling through Instagram and we're speaking the truth, and then there's just this like influencer who's got like fucking 500 likes on a page and on a photo, and she's, you know, objectively, I don't know, probably maybe photoshopped, who knows, like, you know what I mean, like it's just this image that goes along with everything we're trying to share with women. Like, this isn't actually, that might be the reality for a handful of women, but like, I don't know about you, Emma, but I'm a healthy person, I eat moderately, my body isn't like that. And they're like putting on like that they eat all this food, and I'm like, no. Like, if you do, you're a freak of nature. And also, they're an influencer just sharing their way, and that's misleading. And I feel like there needs, you know, they've got this thing about freedom of speech, like people aren't allowed to share conspiracies. Why the fuck are they allowed to share that when that's like damaging? Like, it's actually damaging to women's hormonal health a lot of the time to follow these diets.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yeah, I agree. As someone who used to be affected by that, and I had to unfollow a lot of accounts because I would see their what I eat in a day, and I would see how their body looked. And as I've spoken on the other podcast about how I was always chasing this quote ideal physique based on what someone else looked like, instead of just trying to be the best that I can, that my body is capable of, because I would try to do these things and I still wouldn't look how they looked.
Mm-hmm.
And I would feel like, what am I doing wrong? Because I'm following everything they said.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really psychologically damaging. You're right. Dieting is a trauma, for sure.
Is
Ugh.
that a revelation to you? I've been thinking this for days.
Yeah, it's a very, very recent revelation.
I feel like it's going to be like an IG post that comes up.
It
Are
might
you
be.
creating your own trauma? Yes.
Yeah.
And people don't. Like, I literally was trying to think of an acronym for post-traumatic stress disorder that would go with post-traumatic dieting disorder. I might literally go PTDD, post-traumatic dieting disorder, because it's something like I'm seeing come up as a whole trauma in its own in my coaching. I'm
Yeah.
like, fucking hell, there's another part of it. Like, this isn't about the food. This is actually about, and it's never about the food, but I'm like, oh, we also have this compartment to heal. The fact that we were already in a place of trauma, we're already in a place of shitness, and then we added dieting in. And like, I had this revelation yesterday, and I was greasing, and I nearly voice noted it to you walking down the road, and I was like, I felt like just saying, like, so how many people do I know that have been going to like well-known dieting clubs? You know what I'm talking about, these diet things. And these people, I know loads of people that swing in and out of like keto or any ism, but I'm talking about specifically diet clubs. And I know people that literally are like, oh, I'm, I don't, they'll probably sue me or whatever, but well-known diet things. And I'm like, how long have you been going? And it's like, they've been going there for like, what, 7-8 years or something. And then like, it's not working. It's obviously not working because you've been going there, giving them your money. It's the diet industrial complex, and it doesn't give a shit about you. And they keep taking your money because it doesn't work.
Do you mean like Weight Watchers?
Yeah, Slimming World.
Yeah.
It obviously doesn't fucking work because you've been going for like 10 years.
Yep.
And then they put you in this guilt cycle. You know, apparently, like if someone puts on weight, they're like, oh, like kind of like shame them. And then they give them like these rewards for losing weight. And yes, fine, if that's your goal. But like, I had one friend and she was just like, oh, it was really cool because like I lost the most weight this week, and I was just like, and then she's like, so then I went home, and after weighing, this cracked me up, had a big pizza. I was like, what? No, like, uh, um, just it's not
Yeah,
working. The
it's a
diet industry does not give a shit about your health.
no, it's all about money. Money, money.
Of course. So, Emma, all right, why should people quit dieting and work with a coach? Why should they suddenly be like, right, why should they leave? Well, firstly, obviously, if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh, I've been dieting and on and off for 11 years and I'm not where I want to be, obviously it's not working. So we've already dispelled that myth. But why would they want to work with a coach? Why is it important to invest in one if you're like, my body's not what I want it to be?
Because by working with a coach has the ability to be a mirror for what you need to take a look at. And sometimes you need someone else to be able to shine a light on things that you weren't able to see or wouldn't be able to see on your own. Because if you're in a cycle where you're dieting or you're restricting and binging and you've been doing all of these things and you maybe even feel like you're doing everything right, but you're not getting to where you need to be, obviously that's madness, because if you keep doing the same thing expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. And
I heard
by
that three
working
times this week.
yeah, really. And by working with a coach, the coach can see from an outside perspective, because when you're in it yourself, you're too close to it to be able to see that the solution is maybe right in front of you or the solution is within you.
Mm.
Because what dieting does is it makes you look outside of yourself for the answer or outside of yourself for where you want to be. And like you said, it's not about the food and it's not even about the goal. Like when someone tells me my goal is to lose 20 pounds, that's not
Mhm.
the real goal. The
No.
goal is how they want to feel, and that's usually confidence or something like that. And I feel like working with someone who can illuminate the deeper work that you need to do to really get to the root of why you want to feel that way and where that's coming from. And you're going about it in a way of rather they're using dieting and controlling food in their body to get to that place. But it's like, no, how can we get to that place now? And then we can still use food and lifestyle and exercise to get you physically to where you want to be, but along the way we're also going to shed those limiting beliefs around dieting and your body and what you hold to define you. And it's like twofold. I think when people start dieting, they're wanting two things on an emotional and a physical level. And I think, unless, there are some people who are very, very self-aware and they're able to just realize that they are in this negative cycle and they're able to get out of it on their own. But working with a coach, I don't know if any of that made sense, but
I think trying to do it on their own, they waste loads of time.
yeah, you can get to where you want to go quicker in a more healthy way and getting to the root of where it's all coming from, because then you're just going to be cycling the same thing, just dieting and feeling shit about yourself. And it's not only about that. It's not only about losing the weight. It's the emotional transformation.
What do you think are some signs someone needs a coach?
If you feel like, well, like we said, on the surface level, if you feel like you've done everything and nothing's working, and if you feel like there's so much information out there, you don't know what's right, and you've tried it all, and you know, there's like opposite opinions, like you just said about the avocados. Like this person said it's bad, this person says it's good. What is it? I don't know. If you feel like maybe you're not even aware that you know the best thing for yourself, but you just feel like you need some guidance, or like maybe you even feel like you need permission to do a certain thing. Because the answer truly lies within you, and a coach just can be a really good mirror for that. And also, if you feel like you've tried all of the things, or are even doing all of the things with diet, exercise, maybe even lifestyle, maybe your sleep is on point, but you just feel deep down that there's something missing, that missing link can be the mindset piece, the emotional piece, even the energetic piece. And that's why I think Reiki is so powerful for healing, dieting, mindset. Yeah, you just feel like, I want to try something new, I want to try something different. I just want to feel good. We're here to just be happy and feel good, and to, like, eating shouldn't be something that you think about, really. You shouldn't. You should just eat food. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. So if you want to get to a place where it's not complicated, and it's not this big thing that's stressing you out, or maybe could feel like it's controlling you, then working with a coach could be really beneficial.
Yeah, and like I love that you said it shouldn't be a thing, because if our ancestors could see us now stressing out about too many blueberries, they're like, the fuck are you doing? So you've made it pretty concise. And I always think it's totally right. Energy needs to be healed as well. And I think our clients are pretty freaking lucky that they get Reiki as well.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know about you, but like I feel like we're offering the whole shebang.
Yeah, I agree. I love that I'm offering that now. It's like, it's mandatory. It's not a choice.
Yeah, right. Decide when you want it and I'll send. It's
You
coming.
need energy healing. The whole world needs energy healing, but that's another topic.
That's another topic. So, Emma, I mean, I know I'm going to tell people how to contact you in the show notes, but you might want to tell them how they can find you, because and like, if you're listening, guys, you need to follow Emma, because her content is so uplifting, and it always helps me in a sea full of Instagram shit, to be reminded of what's important. So do you want to share how people can find you and reach out?
Yeah, so I'm mostly active on Instagram nowadays. My handle is Emma's_remedy. So EMMAS_REMEDY. I post stories about diet BS culture, and I'm all about body love and dispelling all of the myths around eating and weight loss. And just come to my page if you want some truth. Drop that truth bomb every day.
I mean, I like your posts. I want more stories. That's my demand.
From me,
Yeah.
I'm on stories every day.
Why don't you appear in mine?
I don't know, maybe the time difference.
Yeah, that's probably true. Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
post
shame.
like 5 days a week stories, and like I just can't handle anything more.
Oh, I don't do more than that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So thanks, Emma, for our clear, short, concise podcast. And Emma's going to come on again soon. We're going to do a Q&A, I think.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I love Q&As.
We'll do a Q&A. We'll get people to send. Guys, send in your questions for me and Emma for Q&A. We can talk about anything. Planets, dieting, Reiki, dating. Emma, you can talk about dating.
Uh,
Periods. What else? Anyway, thanks for coming on, Emma.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Bye.
Bye.
So thanks once again, Emma, for coming on the show. Please remember to follow her at Emma's Remedy if you are looking for a coach that will help you find food freedom and ditch dieting for good. She is your girl. And please remember to leave a rating and review for this episode. Let me know you listened. Send me a DM and let me know how you found this episode. And I cannot wait to meet you. So let me know. See you soon.